Hi, I'm Jason Bouligny. Have you ever had some broken wiring in a component that you had to replace the entire component because of? Well, with a few tools and some knowledge, you can save some serious money by learning a few things and fixing it yourself. So, today I'm going to show you a few things about how to splice wires. We're going to start with some tools you'll need, how to use them, how to prepare your wiring, and then how to splice those wires together. So to start with, we have our wire strippers. These strip the insulation off to expose the center conductor. Then you have your crimping tool that allows you to crimp the butt connector onto said wires. And obviously you have a butt connector itself. These come in different gauges, so you need to know what gauge of wire you're working with before you start. And then you have your wire itself, which this one in particular is a 16 gauge wire. The higher the number, the smaller it is. The smaller the number, the bigger the wire is. So another quick way you can determine is if you have your exposed set of wiring, you clamp it over the size, it should be able to slide back out of there without catching. So now that you know that, we can now prepare the wire for the splice. So knowing that we have a 16 gauge wire, also the wire should have a label on it along the side. Take our 16 gauge spot, which is this bottom one. It's the biggest one on this set of strippers. Slide that into your spot and just clamp it down over the wire, and then you pull the insulation off of the end to expose your center conductor. Now, some common mistakes that are made are if you leave too little wire exposed, you don't get enough into the butt connector, and sometimes it won't grab enough and the wires will come out much easier. Also, if you leave too much, then you expose too much center conductor out here, and then you make it susceptible to shorting to other components, which is also bad. So now that we know all of that, we can move on to the main event. Let's splice some wires. So we're going to go ahead, and we've already spliced one of our wires. Let's take this one, go ahead and prepare it. Okay. And now we have two exposed wires, and these are going to be what we're going to splice together. So we'll start with one. Just slide it in there. If your wires get a little frayed, you just give them a little twist, and they will get all nice. You can also twist it as you're going in to make sure they don't catch on the edges. But once you have that seated nice and firmly into your butt connector, you'll then take your splicing tool, or your crimping tool rather, crimp down about in the middle of that section that you just inserted it into. Give it a little tug to make sure it's snug and stays in there. And you can do that with the other side. Get a nice little crimp. And you give it a tug. Another way to check is to take a multimeter and check the resistance through it to make sure you have good conduction through the splice. So with that, you should be fully capable of repairing a simple splice in your wiring. So I've shown you the tools you need to conduct a splice, how to prepare your wiring for splicing, and then how to actually perform the splice. So I challenge you to go home and don't go purchasing new components when you can just repair them yourselves and save a lot of money. Thank you.